Well, here we are again. 7:02 p.m. It is the 22nd of September 2021. It is Friday night. Well, don't let everyone else go yay at that one. We're John Sears in California. Watching the film Contact, that based off of a book from the late astronomer Carl Sagan. He wrote a lot of scientific and science fiction to entice people to understand the nature of our universe and the nature of things of man. I'm grateful to him and his insight, knowledge, and the way he was trying to educate the public. He was trying to tell people we may or may not be alone out there, where our possible origins may be from. Trying to keep things in a scientific perspective, but also in humanity. And he may have had a lot of shortcomings that people have talked throughout the years, right after his passing. But I didn't care because I was enamored and I was stricken with the bug of science a great deal, besides science fiction. The book that he created, Cosmos, was a primer of the things to come. He tried to talk about science fiction. Some books actually made a bestseller and others not. But one particular book did, and his wife actually made a movie out of it. Got put out there in the theaters back in '97. I researched that one because I know it was in the late '90s. And a lot of actors I recognized. The concept of contacting alien life is common enough in our theme these days. But what the movie was also trying to base it off of is what is our reaction to it. Now, we've all had films from time when they had the first Man in the Moon film. Long time ago, back in the 20s. Black and white. Trying to show how it would be like to go to another planet. We've had writers like Jules Verne firing up our imaginations. We also had Mary Wollstonecraft to fire our imaginations concerning about our own inner monsters. Combine that with science fiction, what do we got? Monsters from outer space trying to eat us or take control of us. You could make it into political situations or critical thinking at that point. But for me, it never did kind of dispel the myths or the misconceptions that we've actually had of what would happen if we actually had visitors from outer space. We've written countless books and suppositions, theories of how things would have been if we were actually visited. We've done stories about aliens living among us, both peacefully and not peacefully. We've had stories about alien invasions. We've had about human invasions. About how the aliens looked at us as human invaders. We've had it in books and novels and movies and stuff. We had aliens being the bad guys while the human beings are the good guys. We got programmed in that damn thing for decades. But very few times have we ever watched or absorbed enough material that's saying that we could try getting along with these guys. Hence the other writers trying to produce novelizations and put them into TV scripts where we could actually see it in film and maybe, just maybe, have a cult following to appreciate that maybe one day we might be able to be in a situation to live out there among the aliens, if there are any out there. But the movie Contact, when it came out there, is not in the hopes that we might be contacted by aliens, but how our reaction to it. There are scenes in the film that still resonated, even probably to this day, whether or not we're actually going to be able to understand it all. And I hope that maybe Carl Sagan had found a way to explain that so that the general public can understand. It's one of those underrated movies that you'd see from time to time. It's like, oh, well, okay. But you have to look deeper into it. You have to be critical thinking about this one. I can use that terminology, but I'm using it anyway. Critical thinking concerning about a book and a concept. Not that we're going to be getting a transmitter and transmitting to the aliens and having first step contact. I mean, that's one thing. But it's the subcontext down below is how the humans react to it, positive and negative. The political ramifications, the religious ramifications, the public disarray. Treating it either as a circus or as an invasion or as something else. When I heard about the Arecibo radio telescope back in December 1st of 2020, I cried out. Because I've grown up listening about stories of the Arecibo telescope, listening for literally to the stars and to the universe. Radio signals coming from astronomical objects out there, how it's being used to define things that we couldn't even see, or let alone have a hard time seeing because of the distance, but we'd get the energy levels. We'd hear the radio pulses from different radio frequencies. And with the information they get, they determine parts of the nature of the universe. Now, me, I'm a stickler for science and science fiction. But I also don't knock the spiritual and religious aspects either. It's a fine line trying to walk a balance in that situation over there. And even in the story context, there has to be a way of walking the fine line of belief and faith. Problem is with what we want for belief and faith is we want to see the damn thing before we can believe in the damn thing. Try this one. I believe in the power of something. I believe in it so much that it'll magically appear in my hands. In a wave of my hand, something will appear here. I'm telling you that there's going to be something over here within the next click away. Ah! Notice the pause in that one. You have to have a pause for the dramatic effect. Ah! Hit the click button, put a cell phone on a hand, then hit the pause button again. Our way of making a point to whoever's watching, whoever may be listening. The pause button of getting something in there so we can demonstrate something extraordinary or magical. How to destroy that moment by describing all the damn effort of it. But out there in the universe, if it happens, it happens, and sometimes we're ready for it and sometimes we're not ready for it. But our reactions to the situation is also going to be depending upon how we're going to be able to look at it in whatever kind of point of view. In watching the movie Contact, I've seen it so many damn times, it just never occurred to me or registered me that besides the contact of an alien, it's also dealing with humanity down below. We get so caught up with the alien theme at this point over here of contacting aliens through a radio telescope and hearing the message from making a machine to finally go out there using what kind of science level we haven't even invented yet or even acknowledged. Seeing the aliens and coming back within so many seconds, have a unique drive system. I'm surprised they didn't destroy the damn Earth. There was a lot of skepticism when we're looking at the science that's part of it here because we're putting human science and human limited technology and understanding of technology and science to an alien technology that's totally beyond us. But we're trying to build this damn thing to their expectations. So hopefully they'll be able to contact us according to the theory of the book. But the reactions of the people itself is also the main emphasis on it. Even though I'm doing about 25, 30 year examination of the damn movie at this point over here, it should be relevant to understand that if or when we get that situation, are we going to be ready for this grand visitation? Or have we already been visited and we've got them living among us or examining us? I don't know. I don't know. I can sympathize, I can suppose, I can theorize. I don't know. My limit of knowledge, my limit of imagination is only to a finite point. Beyond that, I don't know. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you, concerning about human reaction, it'll be varied from positive to absolute. Let's murder the bastards. Because simply put, we're looking at these guys as the enemy and we're going to be destroying. What we're doing is demonstrating our fear and our anger, and basically fear and anger at this point over here because we don't understand a damn thing, and if we did understand a thing, we'll terrify the living daylights out of us because it's out of our context and perspective, out of our box. We're thinking it within our box here of trying to limit the universe of how we understand things, how we understand people, and including ourselves. And we're still having issues with that constantly. But they're having an unknown factor coming into the situation. This is the reason why I had to keep bringing up the book Cosmos. Because in there, Carl Sagan was trying to tell us this situation. He was trying to point out an example concerning about the ball and flat earth, the ball and flat paper theory. And I had tried to explain that in one or two videos concerning about this. Having an item visiting a flat piece of earth, or flat piece of dimension, thinking, feeling, existing. Usually there would be a ball. I don't have a ball. I have to use a tube. Why? Because it's the only damn thing. Well, many things I could use, but still. Now, I'm going to turn it like this. Now, you know it's a shadow. Where's the shadow coming from? From a light source. Okay, got that? Good. This damn thing comes on here. But usually if it's a rounder sphere, the touch of the surface of the sphere would be covering an area that's indefinable and doing a shadow that's indefinable. The limited knowledge of going this way and that way can't comprehend third-dimensional thinking, like a third-dimensional device would be there. So what Carl Sagan was trying to tell us. Our limited knowledge is only a flat earth piece of paper here. We don't understand that more paper introduces depth. Third-dimensional thinking at this point over here. We can do length. We can do width. We can't do depth. Because we don't understand depth. In the book Cosmos, he was trying to explain that the ball would take the subject matter, take them way up high, into height, into a depth range. There would be volume between the target, between the subject matter, and the flat earth. That is a concept that we're still having an issue with because we live in a third dimension. We know about height, width, depth, volume. That's our third dimension. Like this. Be filled up with coffee. But you fill up the volume of the same thing. It would have weight. I'm a college student, 55 years old. I love science. I've been studying stuff like crazy, but I'll tell you, in school, I sucked. I screwed up 2 years of college. 30 years of constantly observing, learning a hell of a lot of stuff. Reading books, buying books, trying to get myself self-educated out there. Besides the politics and government and history and everything else, you know, you try to be generally well-rounded idiot. And these days, anyway, back to it. We understand everything else about this damn thing, except for one thing. Time. Fourth dimension. Even higher dimensions that are beyond there. Now, how do we know this? We suppose it. We theorize by indirect observations, by indirect calculations, by whatever kind of means necessary to figure it out. We can try calculating the distances between the galaxies, from one galaxy to another galaxy, or a black hole to Earth. As long as we know what the hell we're looking at and listening at and judging by the distance, the sound coming from the length of time and the distance, we can find out more information. But how we look at the universe when somebody else from a different place comes over here is going to be judgmental on how we are dealing with ourselves these days. We think we know so much, but we don't. There's so much in the universe that we still don't understand. We're still trying to learn left and right. We are dealing with more and more Terran politics. I'll say that again, Terran, because we are Terrans. Terra firma, or just Terrans. We are Earthers. We are born in this planet, this speck, this dust, floating around in a huge universe. We don't understand what the dimensions are outside of it. Outside our realm. We can only look and examine what's around us. And that's enough right now, as it is. But if we actually go beyond that, it's going to be blowing our minds. But imagine if we actually had that kind of situation happening to us. If we still maintain the second dimensional thinking at this point over here, we wouldn't be as far in our scientific achievements or even our cultural achievements unless we actually have been able to expand things. If or when we actually get an intergalactic or a pan-galactic or even an interstellar knock on the door with a candygram source saying, "Candygram from Baghdad." How are we going to be able to respond to it in this day and age? The internet goes with the information like crazy. We can transmit everything else like crazy through the internet. We have instant satellite communications, but sometimes they're also dependent upon electromagnetic radiation, both from outside and inside. Without the sun's influence, all that solar radiation, all that cosmic radiation, all that interference out there would be screwing us over left and right. But even if that's the case, we're still getting the signals from everywhere else. But that's if we actually did. Today, tonight, when you would view this recording. How would the world react? Now, watching the movie Contact would give us an indication how. We still have religious believers out there that still don't believe in science and still think that science is still evil. We have cult figures out there who are thinking that comets are coming and that they could take their lives at any chance, at any time. We still have people deeply religious who think that ultimate sacrifice is killing the innocent because that appeases their God. We also have to deal with our own concepts and religions concerning about God in many forms that would or would not allow this in. Would or would not allow this in. This contact or creation of other creatures. We keep thinking that we're the only life forms out there. And I think it would be blowing people away left and right if we actually did get an interstellar call. If we actually did get an interstellar operator system with a smart-ass operator. Let's get from the old Martin and Lord laughing. Rowan Martin laughing. Lily Tomlin, that's all we need. It's her acting as the interstellar operator or the pan-galactic operator. Hey, this is a pan-galactic operator. We had Vega on the line for you. It'll just be a few moments. I'm wondering, do you happen to have 300
quadrillions of kidneys at this point. You don't have it. Well, I'm sorry, but we can't transfer this call. Even if we could transfer this call, you was going to have to pay through whatever. You have a credit card. What do you mean this would bankrupt your entire Earth? We're just dealing simply with a very little amount is what you would consider a dime. Well, now you have metal things called a dime. What do you think I am? You got no way of transferring that much currency to us? No, I don't know what the intergalactic transfer rate is for this. I suppose you could try finding it out, but I don't know. You've got your radio telescopes. You could call them. You called me, didn't you? You didn't call me. I called you. Well, I don't know how to say about that one. Used to be so good, Earthers. Always sticking your nose in alien affair businesses. I've seen your show, Close Encounters. I know what you did to those poor little aliens in there. Don't tell me what the movie was. I know what the movie was. You called it aliens. Just poor xenomorphs. We're just trying to visit Earth to have a little fun. And then you had this thing called Star Trek. We had now, what was it you called it? The Death Star to blow things up? Well, I'm not going to be insulted here by you lowly Earthlings. I got more important things to do. I got better calls to deal with them. So imagine if we actually happen to deal with a crazy operator like that dealing with bank collector calls. Of course, actually, Lily Tomlin's going to be killing me for this one. Sorry, Lily. I still have admiration for your work at this point over here, and I'm a lousy interpreter for concerning it. But I had to make some kind of point over here, and I didn't want to make you into... Let's say I'm sorry. More the label suit at this point. Imitation is a sincere form of flattery, yeah, but it's also a great insult as well at the same time. So. But if we happen to deal with a intergalactic system out there trying to route calls left and right, how the hell would they be able to deal with our own primitive communications at this point? But then again, if we actually had somebody coming over here to set up an telecommunication line, that'd be nice, that'd be sweet. Then we could call the universe. Screw using ham operators, we'd have our galactic hammer operator. That'd be nice. But then the politics and everything's coming over here. It's going to be ethical to have that kind of situation over here. Do they believe in God, or do they not believe in God? Do they believe in the democratic process? Then where is our government system based off? We have to deal with... If we're going to be dealing with another lowly political party we can't deal with or control, I mean, come on. Let's just face it, you guys are all schmucks anyway. I mean, if they're not Democrats or Republicans or Trumplicans or independent thinkers, then they're nobody to us, aren't they? And if they're not dealing with our severe religious aspects, if they're not dealing with God in one way or another, they must be cleansed from the universe. I can't tell you how many books and how many movies we tried to do that situation over there, where we have galactic empires being formed over here just because we can't stand the other guy's differences left and right. Or the other beings' differences left and right. So let's form a chain gang, let's go after them. We got a history of this damn thing in our media history. In our literature and also in our media. In one form or another. If the aliens actually had been able to keep a monitoring post, say for example on the moon, closest object they could do, away from the Apollo landers like crazy, but just keep a nice eye on us. Tap into the communication networks. Let's just say for example, monitoring every damn piece of equipment that we've got. Ever since we would set up the first transmission of telephone, carrier wave, or the Morse code through electronic lines. But somehow the information would get leaked out through the electromagnetic field. Something that would catch someone's attention, say, my God, what are we really shooting here? What's going on with these people? And keep about nearly a 200-year record on us just to keep track of our progress. And if they actually happen to see us progressing more and more with our technology, our weaponry, our medicines, our science over here, they would be conflicted, I would think, in my opinion, of whether or not, if we are worthy or not to be communicated or not. Are we? Are we actually worthy? Because all the actions we've been doing against ourselves for a hell of a long while, 10, 20, 30,000 years of human evolution, we're still trying to go back further. All the damn verbal records being transmitted finally into paper, and then we are having a hard time trying to decipher how long ago was it since we've actually had an empire or a belief of religion starting up. And once we do, we're still having a conflict with each other whose version is right or not. And whether or not if history was correct. But we still have to pour through the many documents that we've got over here just to see a lot of inconsistencies. And at this point, are we understanding anything? Now, if you're an alien and you're looking at the transmission rates and you're going through the archives in our internet, go through our satellite systems, create a fictitious account, or having a human host to do that for you, or maybe you're doing it on Earth. Somehow you get hooked in and you're sucking up everything, every damn thing, everything. The secret or not so secret, and to make a judgment call whether or not if we're going to be worthy enough to contact or not, and who would be the people that you need to contact in the first place that might be influential or not. There was a movie, The Day the Year Stood Still, with Michael Rennie in it. Back in the 50s when it came out, it was during the time when we actually had the Cold War going on, when we actually had a lot of fear and distrust, and also we had the threat of atomic weapons at that point. We didn't go in a nuke until, I think, about the 60s or 70s we switched over to nukes, but we had atomics. Which means we could still devastate parts of the planet and still try to keep some of them a survivable biosphere if we were lucky enough. But Michael Rennie's character came out from the stars to give a warning and a message to Earth. Shape up, or else we're coming after your ass if you happen to step off your planet. Basically, it was. Wanted to demonstrate the power. I like the movie The Day the Year Stood Still, the original one, because I like the message better. The one that they remade back in the 2000 era. No, I didn't. The whole damn thing was screwed up anyway. You keep the original one because the original one was telling you what was going on during that time, and it made sense. Especially with the mindset we had back then compared to the mindset we have right now. I don't think anything had changed. I still don't. Except we're still going after each other concerning about terrorism at this point over here. We got biological nightmare. We're still having ideological issues regarding. We're trying to find ways of killing us, and if a bitch, we're trying to prevent it, and we're still having issues. Because our own damn political head games going on left and right. Not to mention our biosphere entirely is collapsing slowly but surely because our own technological needs and our own needs, period, for every limited resource on this planet is going hell in a handbasket. We're sucking the planet dry without it trying to renew itself. You think the planet could heal itself at this rate? Well, not the rate we're going. We might as well consider us as living parasites. And I think we are. We just haven't admitted it to ourselves. We hate the parasite idea because we're looking at ourselves in the mirror at this point. Why do you think I brought up Mary Shelley in the first place? You're looking at Frankenstein, you're looking at the monster of the Gothic here. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're looking at your darker side, the Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde situation. You're looking at your Frankenstein.
Our Frankenstein is our own creations and our own ideas going hell in a handbasket because we didn't bother to nurture it the way you should have been in the first place, that you're nurturing a child. Thinking about all this stuff. Talking about all this stuff. Doing about this stuff. Totally different topics, aren't they? Does it have anything to do with the Contact? With the Contact movie itself? Because you just missed the point entirely. Because if the Vegans, or the aliens beyond the Vegan contact point, actually were interested in contacting us in the first place and thinking we were ready, if I actually had a communication with the aliens, I'd probably say, no, you're not. There's no way in hell we're not even ready for that shit yet. And if you've been bothering reading our damn materials that we have all these damn years and intercepting our communications and been doing a close contact with us, or actually close observations of us, visual observations, and not just hanging around in the outer rims of the universe, but actually here and seeing this in live, then maybe you would understand what the hell we've been going through these days. Or actually for the past 200 or 300 years, with our technology the way it is. Been monitoring it, scan through all the damn books and novels and everything else we've got. Our movies, our videos that we have, our communications, our literature, government forums and formats. See the interactions with the people left and right. Make that kind of judgment call during that time. Whether or not we're actually going to be getting a situation where we have a day stand still. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Michael Rooney coming down here with another flying saucer with a big, huge court. And trying to make sense out of the whole damn thing. We're actually going to be giving us an ultimate message. At this point, if I was right there, I'd say, stop right there before you take that damn mask off. Make sure you got a full life support gear. Do not breathe in the Earth atmosphere, because at this point you might be contaminated. And if you are, you're either going to be subject to something happens to you or not. That we're not. You know, you should have been doing radio contact with us that way. But personal contact, you've got to be having enough serious courage on this one to do this. I'll probably tell them off, say, look, you want a human contact? Fine, you got a lot of people here to choose. A lot of nice little discussion upstairs. Just make sure that you got a biohazard unit ready. Isolation, quarantine, for the both of us. Make sure that we have audio-visual communication so we can actually communicate with each other with a translation matrix. So we can actually understand each other's language. This way, maybe you can understand the reasons why we might have an issue with our planet. Hell, if it was just me, I'd be scared of leaving the crap out of me, but if they actually saw this particular video over here, I'd probably think either he's a blithering idiot or he might be onto something at this point. And seeing something like that, yeah, because outside the perception, outside the perspective, outside the context, outside the safety of the box, there is no idea what I would be facing if that actually happened. If I actually had the contact myself. If I had personally been in a situation like that to see or talk to someone like that, I might do another video regarding that one. I don't know, but I just trying to explain things that be so complicated and convoluted at this point over here. I think we need part 2 coming up.